welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. 4 reviews up this week, the first of which is a game called Deleveled. Honestly, I'm not exactly 100% sure what the title's in reference to because clearly there are levels in this game.
Isn't that a palindrome?
Yes, it is. That's probably the thematic twine here. Much more so than the actual substance of the name. Because, once again, it's not de-leveled. There are levels. It's very level-based, in fact.
Can you level down?
No, you can't. You can't reduce levels. It progresses in very traditional level progression. One after the other, you complete the objective. Maybe you get a bonus. So, yeah. But yeah, the palindrome thing is definitely more relevant to what this game is going for than anything else. Because Deleveled is a minimalistic, boiled-down platformer. We've had this type of platformer on the show before, at least in terms of, the art style. In fact, we featured another one of those from the Quantum Astrophysicists Guild, which published this game. Almost there. Thankfully, this game is more interesting than that one was. Not much more interesting, but still, it's got I won't say a unique premise, because I've definitely seen the mirror image thing done in other platformers, but I don't recall a platformer actually making it its whole gimmick. And indeed, if you're not watching the footage here or whatever, this is a platformer where you guide 2 blocks. I'm not exactly sure if they're supposed to represent anything, but you guide both of them via levels, and you have to hit switches, and eventually have to get to the exit portal. Now, this starts off pretty simple, but it will get complicated pretty fast. And, you will have to deal with not just symmetrical order, but very quickly, very soon, will becoming asymmetrical order movement, which is where you can get stuck in stuff if you're not careful. Or if you, don't time that bounce. Because bounce here is affected by your distance. Bigger drop, bigger bounce. And the inverse is true.
Like physics.
Yes. Actual physics, no less. And, yeah. And Petty Fan is just displaying here what the asymmetrical stuff looks like. And honestly, that's the core of the game here. As far as other levels, well, they will complicate things. First of all, you will have, the next world, you won't just be turning on switches, you'll be turning them off. And then, multiple colors of switches will be introduced. But that's kind of the change-up that this game offers. Different variations and flavorings. It does not deviate from its core mechanic, which is a good and maybe not so good thing. I'll be honest, this game didn't really have any staying power with me. I find the gimmick well enough implemented, and it's all solid and fine, and the puzzles are laid out pretty logically. Everything works. I just don't find this game all that compelling. Maybe some of it has to do with its minimalist art style. I'm maybe not as over this as, say, the retro stuff, but I'll be honest. Seeing a minimalist platformer like this doesn't wow me like it used to. And I know
if you really want to impress us, make a puzzle game where all the art is hand painted friggin' tapestry art or something.
Well, yeah, that would be.
I know tapestries are not traditionally painted.
That would be very impressive. Mm-hmm. No doubt. But
yeah, minimalism is fine. It's just it's not not uncommon nowadays in puzzle games.
Mm-hmm. And it's also, this stuff is so abstract. Like, it's like, this is like the definition of abstract, that there's no attachment here. Like, I'm not a block imbued with life or anything, or some sort of representation for something that, back in the old days, it wasn't minimalist graphics. It was an abstraction of what this game could be about. This is just blocks upon blocks upon blocks and spikes occasionally. Like, once again, nothing particularly wrong with that, but it doesn't foster the imagination, if you will. Like, and the only change ups there is, each world will have its distinct color scheme. Like I said, it's Deleveled here, sticking to its theme, is both a good and bad thing, because it doesn't break away from its core, but it doesn't break away from its core.
And just think, they could have called it Race Car. I'm kidding.
Yeah, they could have called it a lot of things, honestly. Like, once again, when you're dealing with stuff this abstract, I don't think names matter all that much. Anyway, so in terms of the bonus, you'll notice the stars here. Stars are, like, it's only 1 star per level. No stars. And it's not time-based. It's, can you make it through a level without getting killed? Or not so much having to reset, but getting killed. And if you do that, you will get the star. And if you get all the stars, you will unlock a bonus level. And the bonus level in this case is, it's a much harder than anything else in a world kind of deal. The extra challenge kind of bonus. Which, I'll be honest, has never been my particular bag in terms of bonuses. But it's there for those who want more of this game. And want the challenge ratchet up. Like, music was fine. Technical stuff, if I remember, like, I'll be honest, the music, like everything else, was fine, but it wasn't particularly memorable. And that's just kind of where I'm coming down with this game. It's all fine. It all works. It's just, it may be like its most memorable feature is definitely its gimmick. It's what it's doing in terms of laying out what you do in the game. It's not the art style. It's not the music. Those are all literally just there because you need them. Like, I think if this game could devolve into the realm of text, it would have. If it could find a way to implement that style in terms of platform.
I mean, you could make it ASCII.
Right. Like, but I'm not sure if that was supported in Unity or not. The point is,
Unity, it wouldn't be easier, certainly.
No, the point is, the minimalism is there, but that's just the thing. It just feels like it's mostly just there, which was a problem I had with Almost There as well. Like, it wasn't like I felt like this art style was doing anything in service of the game other than, it's a very simple art style. I'm not going to say it's a lazy art style or anything. It's just, this is a very simple one. In terms of pricing, let's see. So the game is clocking in at $10. And that's alone. And there's DLC here, which is the original Family Tracker files. Hang on. Let's see here. Which is the soundtrack. This is a fancy way of saying it's the soundtrack. And it was the Family Tracker is a tool that it was composed in. So it was apparently to emulate the sound capabilities of the NES.
Makes sense.
Though that's a bit curious because, once again, that's kind of clashing with the art style that's going here. It's not retro, it's minimalist, and those are two different things.
Yeah, if it was retro, there would be a lot more pixels.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, visible pixels. I guess I mean jaggies, really.
Yeah, I guess you could define that in terms of minimalist game audio, you know, but that's usually not how that kind of audio is thought of. It's thought of you're trying to recreate the, sounds and visuals and the everything of the 8-bit era of the NES or whatever you're doing.
Right, and we have actual minimalist sound. It's beep boops.
Yes. So, once again, not bad or anything, but I think it's a bit misapplied here. And as far as this game being worth $10, not really. It's like I didn't think there was anything that said, I need to pay $10 for this. I'd say half that, and this would have been a worthwhile purchase. $10. This is wait for a sale, unless you really like this gimmick, or you see something that really appeals to you, like casual purchase. Nah, I think it's just a little too. It's a little too thin. Anyway, Petty, you've been playing the game for the channel. So, what are your thoughts?
I'd go similar with yours. Like, this isn't something I put a lot of time into, but it's kind of.
Petty, your mic is probably muted if you're trying to talk.
Yes. Give him a second here. Like, can he hear us? Well, this is concerning. Petty?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Now we can.
Yeah, I forgot to switch off stereo mix.
Anyway, so your thoughts on the game?
It's mine are similar to yours. Like, this isn't something I put a whole bunch of time into, but it's kind of like an interesting distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think interesting distraction is the good nutshell words to use here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't find it did anything particularly right either, outside of having a premise, having a gimmick, and it is a gimmick. If if like the developers have a problem with the usage of that word, I mean, the mirror image bounce thing is the definition of like a gimmick. To make you stand out. Once again, nothing wrong with that. And that's kind of reflected where I like. This is a perfectly average, perfectly serviceable platformer. That is a bit overpriced for my taste. So, my ultimate recommendation is wait for a sale. And yeah, any other thoughts, questions, concerns, or comments on Deleveled here?
I think I'm out of clever palindromes to ask why it isn't. So
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I'm good. All right, so that'll take care of Deleveled. Be sure to tune in after the break, as the Golics will be reviewing a game called Of Tanks and Demons 3.